So you and Large got up and basically...
Yeah, me and Large got up. I think we did it at, which is now In Your Ear, but back then it was called Power Play.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And we wound up doing those records there. I did a lot of my records at that studio.
So a majority of this album, was this all recorded in Power Play, or was this also recorded like in Marley's?
Well, yeah, we fluctuated. Like, you know, it depended on who I was working with and, you know, the scheduling. Because at the time, Marley was working with a lot of other groups too. Like Marley was working with like Kane and working with, you know, Biz still, and he just, you know, he was doing a lot of shit, man. He was doing a lot of outside projects. So sometimes I wasn't able to get Marley's, but he would book me in, which is In Your Ear now, but at the time it was Power Play. Okay. So it will fluctuate.
All right, cool. What is what's the whole thing behind Back to Reality?
Back to Reality was basically a song I made to kind of like, you know, say like, okay, I'm this young rap star right now, but you know, I got to keep it back to reality and be mindful of where I came from and how much it took me to get here. So I kind of give you a little backstory when I used to jump out the window. Rest in peace to my mom's too. Her birthday's coming up in a few days. Rest in peace, Denise Chapman. Love you. She used to come to the park because I used to sneak out the crib and go to the park and rhyme, and I was like 9, 10 years old. My mom's would like get behind the ropes, grab the mic, shut the music down.
Now, to explain to people what kind of like parties these were, because you know a lot of people probably not know.
Well, they was park jams, man. They was park jams, and basically you had people out there like the All Brothers. You know, I came up in the era of like, you know, my first DJ, who was actually DJ Hot Day. That was my first DJ. Yeah. Well, actually, my first DJ was Panic. And Panic kind of like put me on a Hot Day. And me and Hot Day made like Go QueensBridge. We made Super Kids. We made a few joints.
Most exotic beats, high tempo and tone. My character and reputation may not be known. Rhymes I construct are emerge much greater. I'm the prince of poetry and a rhyme narrator. Expressing these talents, rhymatical gift. The goal in my mind is frequently shift. I'm a door, not a simulator as a rhyme biter. Only look at as a poetry writer. My goals in life is high as it can be. My comprehension reading level is 12.3. If you wanna get ill, watch how it's done. We only had 12 battles and all we won. MC is a crowd, don't try to riff. If you dare to cross paths, I'll leave you stiff. You ignorant fool can never put me in fear. Cause I write like Mark Twain, recite like Shakespeare. A common MC from off the block. And every time you say a rhyme, all I hear is hip hop. The center of the streets is where your time is spent. You're mentally ill, mechanically incompetent. I'm a headhunter and I'm going for kill. But enough about that, Hot Day get ill. Go QueensBridge, go QueensBridge, go QueensBridge, go QueensBridge.
And then I, you know, got kind of passed on to Marley, but Hot Day and Panic, you know, they were responsible for doing the park jams in my specific era. You know what I mean? And they would, you know, take the extension cord from the River Park, which we about to go lace up in a few days, and they would take the cord and take it all the way from the park into somebody's window in the projects. Or sometimes it used to be a lamp post in the park, and they would plug it into the lamp post, and we would just get busy. You know what I'm saying?
And that would be like what? That'd be like every weekend, or this is
it would be when they if it was hot and they felt like it, they just bring it out, man. It could be on a weekend, weekday, and that's the ill thing because sometimes it was on a weekday. And you know, I lived on the first floor, so I would jump out I put some pillows in my cover in my bunk bed, jump out the window, and go right to the park jam. Because you gotta understand that shit was like right on my window.
And it's not like you was all the way. You live on 21st Street.
Yeah,
you live right.
It wasn't. It was across the street, but it wasn't even across the street because I could literally walk about 20 feet and be in the park jam from my crib.
So it was like, damn, I gotta be there.
Yeah, and like the first time, like I never forget, Hot Day was spinning Tanner Gardner's record, Heartbeat. That's why that's one of my favorite records. And it was going boom, 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 boom. And it was like the bass was resonating on my window, vibrating. And I was like, yo, I gotta go. I gotta get over there. Damn. I gotta get out. I gotta go over there. And I just ran out there. And I'll never forget, I grabbed the mic. I snuck under the ropes and grabbed the mic. And I started rocking. My voice sounded like Sean Tate and had the ill squeaky voice. I grabbed the mic and started getting busy, and they let me rock. Damn. And then I just kept going from there.
Damn. All right.
Well, that shit was crazy.
Microphone check. How did you even come up with the title? Where did this whole concept come from?
Microphone check was an ill joint because, like I said, as I was doing Intelligent Hoodlum, I kind of felt like I was getting put in a box. And I was like, nah, I can do that and I can do this shit too. Like, let's not forget my origins. Like, I get busy. Like, I'm gonna tear that mic up. So I was on some, like, I want to do just a straight mic check. Let everybody know, listen, man, I get busy. Like, it ain't just about me trying to tell you how the world is. I'm going to tell you what I am, too. And I'm going to tell you what this rhyme thing about, too. So that's how Microphone Check came about. And it was just an ill, hard, funky beat. You know what I'm saying?
How about Party Animal?
I ain't going to lie. Party Animal, that was like Marley's idea, man. I ain't really want to do that record, man. Like, I ain't really want to do that. That's again, like, that was my innocence, being influenced. Not to say it was a bad influence, because really you learn formulae from shit like that. You learn how to set up a record.
Okay.
But I didn't really like that record. Like, that wasn't like coming from my heart, like,
and then
Party Animal.
And then Party
shit.
Pack.
Same thing. That was kind of like a jump off. I ain't gonna front on the population right now. That was like Marley, like, yo, you gotta switch it up. Yo, you need to do this kind of record. And me being under his tutelage, I took direction. I ain't gonna front.
And Keep Striving?
Keep Striving was more heartfelt because I always feel like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was always in the back of my mind. Like, to me, that record was always in my mind. And the same dudes singing on Keep Striving are the same dudes that went on to do Around the Way Girl for LL. You know what I mean?
Okay, and how about Your Tragedy?
Your Tragedy is just basically like, and symbolically again, my story. You know what I'm saying?
I think what's dope about like the early '90s era is that you have a guy like Large Professor who comes in as a producer. He's producing great records at that moment. The guy was 17, 18 years old.
Yeah.
He was basically a musical prodigy that took the love and
Still
knowledge.
a musical prodigy.
Well, I call Large a jazz man. He has great improv skills.
Yeah.
Like being in the studio with him and seeing him work with other artists. Him have his improv skills is amazing. I think no one doesn't have improv skills. He's more to me like a jazz man now. Like, he's evolved. He was like a prodigy, and now he's a jazz man. In my mind, that's how I always call him, like a jazz man,
Yeah.
And he started like that. He started, making these beats for G-Rap and etc. etc. Then he does production with Chew, and then he puts out his own material under Main Source. And the one thing that I can say is that he has watched Roger do his thing, which I always felt like that kind of came from. I don't know if Large ever told you this, but he said that you was like the first real rapper to them that made it.
Yeah.
Like, no one ever made it before. So you was the first one, so everyone wanted to work with you. So for him, it was an honor just to work with you. Be like, yo, I'm working with Traj. I'm in the lab with Traj.
He definitely told me that.
So it's like, how do you feel like now, 25 years down the line, the record like stand the test of time? And it also like represents where we at politically and socially. To me, how do you feel about that?
I feel like the record being something that people have labeled as a classic is like it wasn't just me. It was more of a collaborative effort, like you said, like Fatal, Marley, Large Professor. They were all like real instrumental in helping me basically, depict my vision. You know what I mean? And as far as Large, how I see Large now, like based on that history and based on that walk Large took with me, he's one of the few people that, and I don't tell him this enough, but he's one of the few people that when I need more of a direction, I can go to and get an honest, pure, untainted perspective on, basically how I want to see this. You know what I mean? And when I get with him, it's just good energy. Like, you know what I mean? If anybody know Large, he always got good energy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But his perspective on things are very clear. You know what I'm saying? There ain't no fog. And sometimes, I think I think he, you know, his movements, he has a type of movement where he can seem like real isolated. But I think that's part of what allows him to be able to have that clarity, that he's unfazed by the time. You know what I'm saying? Like he's unfazed, he's untapped by the time. Like his cup is full. He can just keep spilling on you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think with Large and, you know, with him is that he never ever went off his square. He just kept adding on to it. And I feel like that's why he's like you, like timeless, like wine. Like that guys get better within years. And I feel like you guys never ever had a peak. You know, I feel like y'all writing skills get better and the production wise get better and stuff like that.
I could agree, man. I could agree. And like I said, man, you know, if you say he's like a jazz man now, if you equate that to me, I look at that as like him being a grandmaster now. And not to say he's not still a student. You know what I mean? Because he's still a student as well. But he's a grandmaster. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because like I said, things that he does is just, you know, I work with a bunch of other producers, but what he, like, his ear for certain details.
Yeah, son is illmatic, man.
And then, like, certain things, like, I'll be in the studio with him, I'm like, he's like, you don't hear that? I'm like, hear what? And then he will, like...
bring it out.
And he'll show it to me, and then be like, oh, okay, I didn't... So I feel like that's where he is.
Go full, yeah.
You know, so, yeah, man, anything else, like, any, like, cool story you want to, like, talk about in the making of this album? Like, like, how long did it take you to actually make this album?
It was done it took a couple of months. And, like I said, that's only because Molly was doing so many other projects. Like, for me, like, I ain't gonna lie, I probably could have knocked that album out in, like, a month. If that, you know what I'm saying? But because once I got the spark in me, like I said, because like Fatal was on me every day, and I got a spark in me, you know what I mean? So, you know, any artist know, man, once you get that spark in you, you just run till you can't run no more, you know what I mean? And depending on how creative you are, you know, you just gonna keep going. So I'll be up 2, 3 in the morning, you know, just finishing songs, writing, but wouldn't be able to lay it because like LL's in the crib and, you know, Molly's doing LL's project. Because this is around the time, like, you know, this is around the time Molly was doing that Mama Said Knock You Out joint.
Okay.
And it's like, you know, what a lot of people don't realize, I only had one person in this whole world. And it's ill because I was like, yo, how you peep that? And he was like, yo, he said Traj is like LL and Rakim together. And I was like, yo, and the reason why that's so crazy is because those were my 2 points of reference. But nobody ever hit me with that. And the person that hit me with that was Big Daddy Kane's brother Shane, Lil Daddy Shane. And that's why I respect Son, because his perception is ill, because I was like, yo, how you peep that? It's like he threw out my password type shit. Yeah. He was like, yo, you mommy, he said, because you got the wisdom and the words like Rakim, but you said with the passion of L. And those are my 2 points of reference. So when like L came and stayed with Molly, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna ride him. Yeah, but I was like, oh shit. Like
it's L.
But it's deeper than me because L is the reason why I wanted to make records. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people ain't know that because he did Rock the Bells. But the Rock the Bells you hear on that Big Endeavor album ain't the Rock the Bells that he came out with first. He had an original version.
Okay.
And the way he was rhyming on that shit, I was like, oh shit, you can rhyme like that? Like he was using, his vernacular was impeccable. So I was like, yo, like, cause I was always into books. But you know, growing up in the bridge, motherfuckers want to beat you up if you came outside with a book. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't into basketball and all that shit. I'd rather read a book. So like when I heard L, I was like, oh shit, like he's using the words that I like. And he wasn't using them like on no professor shit. He was using them with like venomness. Like them shits was like aggressive. And I was like, oh shit, you could do that? That's just like when I heard Kane Get Into It. And he was like rhyming off beat but on beat. Like I was like, yo, you can do that? Like these dudes show me like, yo, there's no orthodox way. Like rule number 1, there ain't no fucking rules. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So when I heard that L shit, I was like, oh shit. So now years later, Marley's doing his whole album. So it's like he's staying in one room, I'm staying in the other room. So like I ain't gonna lie, I used to be like, damn, yo, this nigga is ill. Like this is my fucking, like, son is nice. Like, see, a lot of people look at L now, and you know he done got commercialized, and you know he went on to make his own brand and feed his family and get bread. You know what I'm saying? I ain't mad at that. But the L before was just straight raw narcotics, like son was raw. And I was like, yo, son is nice. So when he came to stay with Marley, you know, me being the type of individual I am, I ain't gonna be on your back and all that. I ain't gonna be on your neck and all that. I'm like, yo, what's up? But deep down, I'm like, oh shit, this nigga out of the crib. Like, this is like a dream type of shit. So fucking, you know, me and him started clicking and shit. He come through with the black Porsche and all that. We be going, bouncing around and all that. And I just be analyzing him, you know what I'm saying? But I also analyze son as an aura snatcher too. Like, he the type of, he'll pick up whatever your language is, he gonna pick up on your language and use it. You know what I'm saying? I ain't knocking him, he a shark, you know what I mean?
But you know, sometimes he wanna probably be down as well. So
So I ain't clapping at the OG. I'm just saying straight facts, everything 100. But at that time, I'm like, yo, I'm around LL, son. So like, what, you know, me and him wound up clicking up. We got cool and shit. And when I did Black and Proud, he was in the video.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And L was like, and a lot of people don't even notice, he in the video hugging my two little cousins. A lot of people like, L wasn't the type to get in nobody video. You know what I'm saying? He just was on his shit, like, you know what I'm saying?
He was on his LL Cool J, Fly Lady Loves Cool J. I'm out here doing me. Right now, he really didn't co-sign that many artists as well. So for him to be in your video, and that's what I'm trying to say. It's like LL, Def Jam, you know, big artist. Meet You, he's in your video on a, like you said, Black and Proud. Like these are like these, you know, awakening records at a young age. And you know, like, you know, to close it off, I have one question to ask you.
What's up?
25 years down the line, this record is still, you know, one of like the pillars, right? Do you feel if you put out your record now, will they still go crazy for it? And my personal opinion,
when you say put out my record,
if Intelligent Hoodlum came out 3 days ago, right?
Yeah.
Will you think it will still have the same effect from 90? For me, just to answer.
Let me answer it first.
All right.
You're asking me the
question.
All right,
go right ahead.
In my opinion, yes, it would. I think, honestly, it would have more of an impact now than it did then. With the exception of Arrest the President.
I was gonna say, yeah. I mean, and I think you being a young man talking about these things that are actually going on now, but it's more high, more elevated.
Yeah, it's more intense. That's right.
You know, so. And remember, in the 90s, it wasn't cool being a geek. Now everyone's wearing the glasses.
Yeah, like I've been on that shit.
So it's like I said, like if you would have put that album out now, I think even with the Arrested President, you know, having Obama because of what he's been doing, what he has shown for the past 7 years, I think records like that would even made you even bigger because it was like, yo, look at this dude talking about Obama, and he's talking about all this other like crazy next level stuff, and no other rapper is rapping like that. You know, like Kendrick Lamar album is dope, but I feel like if Intelligent Hoodlum would have came out, you were definitely like Kendrick Lamar would have been like, oh shoot, who is this young dude coming out of nowhere from Queens?
Yeah. I think it's just time. Like the reason why I said the exception of Arrest the President is because one, people will look at the fact that there's a black president right now because, and just like me. When I made Arrest the President, what I didn't realize is that it's not about the president, it's about the presidency, which is an institution. It has nothing to do with the individual. You know, he's just more or less like a placeholder.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I said with the exception of Arrest the President. Okay. You know, but yet and still, you know, I think, you know, people, you know, feel like because there's a black president, like times have changed. Of course times have changed, but you got to understand that it was never about the president. It was all about the institution of the presidency, which is, you know, if you're aware, it's not controlled by the president. You know what I'm saying?